All. This is Dr. Mubin Sayed. I hope you're doing good and happy belated Valentine's. So a couple of days ago on the GB News People Forum, Rishi Sunak was present and speaking with people. And a vaccine injured patient confronted him for his pain, his condition, and silencing of him. So, what really kind of caught my attention was that he brought it up and he said, "We are silenced." So let's very quickly look at this interaction. So I'm not going to play this because these are copyrighted material. This is GB News. I have the links to these videos in the description of this video as well. But here is Rishi Sunak, and here is the man John Watt. There was another person in this discussion as well who was also injured. There are a couple of more links that have write-ups about this. So let me just go over a bit of what I thought was interesting and I took notes. So John Watt is 38 years old or young. He received 3 COVID vaccine shots in 2021, developed health issues, and was diagnosed with heart condition after the 3rd shot in November of 2021. He was previously an ex-joiner and carpenter, and since the injury, he still cannot walk correctly. He has developed postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or POTS. So when you are sitting down and you stand up, your head spins and the blood pressure falls and brain doesn't receive sufficient blood. Then the heart tries to compensate by beating faster and with more force, so palpitations are felt, dizziness occurs, and so on. He's also diagnosed for vaccine-induced myocarditis. So he has been struggling to be heard and to be able to get some justice. When he was speaking with Rishi Sunak, here is what happened. At 2:21 in these videos that are on in the description of this video, Rishi Sunak listens to him and then responds and says, the thing that caught my attention in this one was that he called it a thing. So he said, "Yeah, John, well, I'm very sorry to hear about your personal circumstances, and you said someone over here also seems to have suffered by a similar thing." So it is interesting that using the word vaccine injury, of course, you could say that he did not know that this patient has vaccine injury or not, so he just avoided all that by saying thing. But that still was a very sterile reaction. Then John says, "We are the most silenced people in this country." John had a lot of statements to make. I've just picked some. And this also struck me that he said, "We are the most silenced people in this country." And hear out Rishi's response. What struck me was that Rishi was not aware of this, or at least he said that, "Hey, I didn't know this was happening." So he said at 3:17, "So there is a vaccine compensation scheme that is in place, as you alluded to, in the NHS." And he continued. Then he said, "I'm very saddened and shocked to hear that you have been silenced by anybody. That is surprising to me. So please do get me your details." And he talked about his team and said, "Give them the details and they would bring it to me." And that is surprising to me as well. And maybe this is the same situation here in the US too. Maybe our presidents, Trump first, Biden now, are not aware that if somebody is vaccine injured, one, it is very difficult for them to prove that they are vaccine injured. And secondly, in that process, they have to do their own struggle because the system doesn't really help. And then they have to get well as well. They have to do their research as well. And in that process, many of them are actually called anti-vaxxers. So this was interesting that Rishi said that he's shocked that he's shocked that John was silenced. But I'll be shocked that if he knew that people are being silenced and still he didn't do anything. So maybe he was actually unaware. But that is a distance from his own population, from his own people. So then this is another video. This video is a scandal bigger than the post office vaccine injury victim gives exclusive TV interview. So John Watt then appears on GB News and gives an interview. And look at this man. Muscular, well-built, fit, exercising. Again, I cannot play these videos, but I would recommend that you play them. He shares his videos of doing exercises, jumping up and down, and fit and happy and healthy. And then here is what becomes of him. So this is what becomes of him. In the meantime, he's also being silenced, according to him. So what is interesting is that in the second video that I'm just showing you now, this one, and I have the link in the description as well. In this video, GB News host actually then plays a small clip of another person, someone, Kevin McGovern, who says the following. So in here, I believe this is Kevin. So Kevin McGovern at 2:50 says, didn't you watch this bit? So he's talking with the others about this Rishi Sunak People's Forum. And he's saying, did you watch this bit where some anti-vaxxer went on and on and on? That's, I think, the two of them. Why will PM, and he was saying something which I couldn't catch, subject himself to that? So the apathy is so deep that even after seeing people who may be rare, the point is that you are looking at a person who's saying, I am injured. And the answer to that as a society is, instead of saying, let's help you, the answer is, you are an anti-vaxxer. And you know that everything that comes with labeling someone as an anti-vaxxer, all the punishment comes with it. So host says to John, so in this interview, host says to John is on the right side. He says, how does it make you feel being called an anti-vaxxer? John says, first of all, who is that guy? I don't know who he is. But anyways, what is an anti-vaxxer, Patrick? Can somebody tell me? Can someone elaborate what an anti-vaxxer is? Because I took 3 of them. I took 3 of these vaccines. So does that mean that, doesn't man have any idea how stupid he sounds at this point of time by saying that? This terminology, John continues, the language people are using just now, saying anti-vax and all that nonsense, to be completely honest with you, the narrative of safe and effective, in my opinion, is no longer. And he continues. And when he continues, he says things that vaccines are not safe, or they have not proven to be, or they've not saved lives. And I was thinking, when you have a patient whose whole life got disrupted, happy, healthy, exercising, fit person, and the life, and he is being a good citizen. He's saying, all right, I'm going to go get vaccine, protect myself, protect others. And then the society labels such a person as an anti-vaxxer. What do you think? Now we want him to be decent as well and calm as well and not say things that we would be offended with. I did not imagine such things can happen. So, my comment is, and I've said this many times before, if we say that vaccine injury is possible but rare, it's very rare. If that is the case, shouldn't that make it easy for us, make it simple for us, make it less costly for us to actually help them? Let's say out of millions, 50 million, 54 million Britain, let's say there are 1,000 of them vaccine injured. You can have a huge budget for them because they're just 1,000, they're just so rare. But we have to first acknowledge that this happens. And I put my name over here, not as this is my quotation. I put that over here just to make sure that you are aware I'm saying it, not them. Now, about the UK's vaccine damage payment program. This was established in 1979, and it covers a lot of vaccines, not just COVID. It covers then COVID as well. Under the current rules, it offers £120,000, all or none, take it or leave it, kind of a rule. Eligibility criteria requires that either a person has died because of the vaccine or has become 60% disabled or more, I would assume. A doctor's assessment is required. So, India, Jules says, Dr. Bean, hardly anyone in UK even knows about the fund. I guess the problem is that people are not really that forthcoming. He said it, I believe I heard from John at one point during the interview that he said there is so much of a taboo talking about vaccine injury that even if you're injured, you just simply say, I'm fine, just not to be labeled and not to be attacked. That makes me worried about our society. We are a civil society, and we don't do this to people, that we would just simply, if somebody is injured or a patient, we start attacking them instead of seeing how to help them. Alexander Vasaras says, 1,000 injured from vaccines we have in any small city in Greece. Eric Doc says, I remember my way going back maybe 40 years. Flu vaccine injury was in use for youngsters under 12 years of age. Results of benefit outweigh risk, keep them in. Yeah, so risk-benefit analysis is one part of it. Helping those that got injured is an important part of it. We cannot say that the risk-benefit is, let's say the benefit is much larger than the risk. And because of that, the program continued. And now here are a number of people who are damaged. We can't just leave them on the road and say, you know what, sorry, we hit you and here you are suffering, we are moving on. That is not part of the risk-benefit analysis. That is just humanity. That is just being a civil society to work with your citizens. And so I wish John the best, and I wish everyone the best, and I wish most of all for the society to start attacking each other's. We have to let people present their cases. And then there are doctors, there are competent doctors. They can decide if somebody is making things up or somebody is actually vaccine injured. Instead of we start taking matters in our hand and start calling them names. So this is the discussion. I wanted to talk about the bubonic plague, one case that was found later in the day. So, but this was kind of nagging at me, this particular point or topic. So I just did this. It's out of my system now. And then I'll see if I can prepare another talk for the later in the day. What is your opinion? So, of course, in my audience, there are people who are pro-vaccine people. There are those who do not like vaccines. There are those who have no nuanced view of the vaccine. How do you see it? Without any attacks, without calling names, how do you see this situation? Vaccines are there. 93 or 94% of the Americans, for example, have been vaccinated at least one dose. COVID is almost out. CDC is almost about to say that, hey, if you don't have fever and symptoms are recovering, you don't need to stay 5 days in home. Meaning it is kind of getting behind us. People are still dying though. Is this the correct way to approach our own members of our own friends, families, to say, you're an anti-vaxxer? That guy, John, talked with his prime minister. He has a right to talk with the leader of his own people and present his case. And immediately the attack started. That, did you see the anti-vaxxer who was going on and on and on? So anyways, I'm repeating myself now. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I would see if I can prepare another talk and see you again later in the day. Thank you very much, and bye for now.